Hello Aries, welcome back. Thank you for coming to join me again. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you for coming. If you are new to the channel, then welcome and hope you enjoy the reading. Please don't forget to like and share or like and subscribe. This is a general reading, so elements of it may apply to you or it may apply to somebody else that you are associated with at this time. So it could be interchangeable. If you have a strong influence in your birth chart, which is associated with another sign, something that you have picked up and you've noticed, could be your Venus or it could be your ascendant, or some other element which you find does affect you, then you can cross-watch to my other videos to get more insight and information. This is a general reading, so just take it as it comes for you. I use the 12 houses of the zodiac. So as the cards are appearing in each house, then those are the elements that are coming to bear for you at this time. So I've already shuffled and laid out the cards, and yeah, let's begin. All right. So in the first house, we have Grand Cross Provoker. This card is coming in on your first house, which is your house of self. Everything to do with yourself. Yourself is everything to do with your actual appearance, your self-oriented interests, your physical body. It's also your personal independence, how you are making your way in the world, your daily sort of outlook. It's also how you come across to others, so your characteristics and your personality and what you project outwards to them as well. So now with this card coming in, you're facing some challenges at this time. This is going to apply, as I said, to yourself, everything to do with yourself. So there's going to be some sort of test of endurance going on, and there will be inner stress over this. It could just be circumstances, many circumstances going on in your life, many things happening. But it's basically bringing about growth through consolidation. Timing and discipline is required, in response to limitations of all kinds. So this is about building your inner strength, using your talents and skills, and in order to do that, you need to prioritize and focus. But you need to use your energy wisely at this time, get organized. But there is great potential for renewal and success, but it's going to take real effort from you. And it's also about overcoming certain things, whatever you're setting for yourself, on a daily basis. This is connected also to the 12th house. And the 12th house we will get to later, but that's everything to do with the unconscious self. So yeah, some challenges there, but if you apply the basic skills and prioritize and actually really put your shoulder to the wheel and build up your inner strength, you have really good potential of renewal and success here. In the second house, we have Jupiter Abundance, lovely card coming in on your second house, which is your house of income. So money coming in possibly, or abundance in all its forms. Second house is everything to do with your income. It's also to do with your self-worth, and also your value systems, whatever those may be. And it's everything to do with your possessions, what you own, what you value in yourself, what you value in others. And all of these things can be connected to money and income and what you're gaining as well from your resources. So with Jupiter Abundance coming in, it is bringing in a windfall or some sort of increase in your circumstances, success, abundance, which can be coming in a variety of forms. This can be ideas, money, resources, even people. But it's bringing an opportunity for you, a breakthrough of some kind. Also a change of luck, but it could also be strength and faith coming in for you, sort of a bolstering of that, or relief or rescue, or even some kind of divine assistance coming in. But whatever occurs, blocks are being removed and doors are starting to open. You may receive a gift even. But what you will have to do is you've got to have to work at it as well in order to harness those that abundance coming in. Yes, it is coming in, but you still have to actually work at it. And this is, I feel, what your first house is all about. It's about harnessing these opportunities and really applying yourself in every way that you can to bring it home, to actually anchor it down for yourself. With Jupiter coming in, the downside would only be to avoid complacency. So you've got to take action and sort things out and actually work at these opportunities, and also overspending, since this is your money, one of your money houses. So this could be something to do with overspending as well. Then in the third house, we have Saturn return age. Your third house is your house of communication. It's also the house of documents and contracts, and it's the house of short trips as well. And specific communications for people around you could be in your position where you are, where you work, or to the public in general, but it can also be to specific people in your environment, which could be neighbors, siblings, aunts, uncles, cousins, and relatives. So anybody like that. Any form of communication, which can be verbal, written, and also body language even. So now with this card coming in, Saturn return age, Saturn does return in most people's lives, usually twice. And sometimes if you live a really long life, then it can come back again. But usually the first time it comes around, you're taking responsibility for your dreams, and you actually get to understand what it is you're supposed to do with your life. The second time it comes around is much later, when you're 60, more or less, and there you see the result of what you chose when it came around the first time at the age of about 29. So depending on where you are, the Saturn return is everything to do with age. This is really wisdom and understanding. So this is kind of looking at what has transpired in the past for you, and taking the nuggets of wisdom from that and applying it now to your current situation. But it can also be about leaving the past behind. However you view it, good or bad. It's a kind of a release and a redirect or a correction of some kind. It's also about figuring out what needs to be done. So, this can actually bring you a great deal of liberation in some way, because it actually does assist you to find out what needs to be done, what you're supposed to be doing actually in your life at this time. So whether that you're a younger age or an older age, it's what really needs to be done. So it's peeling back all the illusions and having a really realistic look at everything, and finding what works for you and how to move forward. So what you're supposed to do, it's mastering your goals, and being authentic. And there could be, because of the Saturn does sometimes represent older people or authority figures, it could be an older person in your life that is assisting with you with this at this time. And they're possibly going to bring structure in for you, or they're going to assist you and bring some sort of solidification or some kind of just structure and some kind of foundation. They could even be a taskmaster of some kind, but it's going to assist you in some way in this third house. And it's also about being diligent and consistent with all that you do. So this is about discipline as well. And you're going to need all of these skills to harness all these energies coming in at this time. But leave the past behind. Use your wisdom and understanding when it comes to all your communications. Release what's not serving you and redirect your energies now. Then in the fourth house, we have Pisces, I believe. Fourth house is your house of home, your physical home. It's also the atmosphere in the home and the people in your home. And it's also your family, your ancestral roots, your foundation, where you've come from, your ethnic identity. It's your relationship with all of that. So now with Pisces, I believe, coming in, I feel that this is going to be bringing in, what you need to do is just have some faith and trust that things are going to come right in this house. You could be going through a few changes. There could be some things going on, or you just need to hang on at this time. And faith and trust does come through on this card. You may just need to surrender to what is unfolding at the moment. So just be easygoing. Surrender, go with the flow, but at the same time you will need to maintain your boundaries. You don't want to be taken advantage of or to be seen as a bit of a doormat. You need to still maintain your boundaries, but be easygoing at this time. There may be no clear path right now, or you may be facing a few confusing circumstances, or things just seem uncertain at this time, or what course of action needs to be taken. So just be careful also with toxins or allergens in the home. Clear out heavy chemicals and things like that which are lurking in your cupboards, your cleaning cupboards and so on. Get rid of those, go natural, do whatever it is you need to do to clean and make your home toxin and allergen free. You may be facing water issues at this time in your home as well. Perhaps you're doing something in your house and water issues are coming up, whether it's flooding or just geyser issues or something to do with water issues. Or you could be just living next to the water at this time. This card is also about following your dreams as well, because it's ruled by Neptune, so that is very much a dream card. So there could be something about that, or you're just dreaming at this time about what can be. This card is also somehow connected to the 10th house, which is also water and sensing. So your foundation does assist you somehow with your 10th house. So it could be also family foundations which are giving you something to do with what you're aiming for in your life. Your foundations and your roots and your family group that you've come from may be assisting you in this time. But whatever it is, it's requiring you to just have some faith and trust that things are going to unfold as they should at this time. Then in the 5th house, we have Aries I Am. So the 5th house is your house of creativity, your creative endeavors and how you use your creativity at all times. It could even just be creative projects you're involved in. This is a house, is also the house of children, so whether they're your children or other people's children that you're involved with at this time. It's also the house of love affairs, and it's the house of all fun and outgoing, pleasurable, recreational activities, all pleasurable activities. So with Aries I Am coming in, this is, you could be needing to take the lead in some way. You're going to be getting started. But it's a fiery start, so you're cleansing first. You're actually clearing the decks, and then you're starting something new or getting started on something. You move ahead with something. You're getting the urge to move ahead with something. But it's the best way to harness the Aries energy is to go about it in a very measured and with measured action, considerate action, because there may be other people involved, and their opinions and their needs may also be needing to be taken into account. So it's almost like a team endeavor. If you're in a sort of an activity which is sports related, this could come in for you, where you need to take your other people's concerns into consideration. But it's measured action, disciplined action. So you could be involved in team sports, or you could be facing a challenge of some kind in this house. You may need to be in sort of defense mode or warrior energy coming in for you at this time. But it's a test of will as well. So this is some kind of action which you're involved in. It could be that you're seeing this in your children. Perhaps they are facing challenges or undergoing sports trials and so on, and you need to assist them through that period. So you could be just needing to lead a little bit at this time and kind of pave the way for measured action, disciplined action, but make no mistake, it will be no nonsense, no game playing action that needs to be taken. It's quick action as well. So avoid rash and foolish behavior in this house. And also finish what you start. Very, very important with this card. So however it comes out for you in the 5th house, finish whatever you start and encourage your children to do that. It could be a love affair you're involved in, or some creative project, or just an activity. But this is all coming in for you in your 5th house. It's a fiery go-get-'em card. Then in the 6th house, we have Gemini, I think. 6th house is your house of work colleagues, workplace, and also your mastery of your craft, whatever work projects you're involved in. It's also the house of your lifestyle, health, and diet, and it's the house of your pets. So now with Gemini, I think coming in, In this house, communication is very, very important for you. So use your words wisely in whatever way is going to be important for you. You need to be quick and you need to be versatile in this house at this time. Also pay attention to what is going on with your work, what you're doing, and keep your focus on that, because with Gemini, sometimes it can be very distracting energy. You get restless and distracted easily. So pay attention to what needs to be done and what needs to be said, okay? Be mindful. You could be required to be multitasking at this time as well. There could be a lot going on. And that sort of comes in with your first house card as well. Lots going on, lots of juggling. It's also it could also be that there's gossip going on in this house. You could be hearing gossip, or you could be being talked about. Other people are talking about you at this time. You could also be in two minds about course of action in this house. Perhaps you've got more than one offer or more than one project going on, and you're just quite not sure how to proceed, or you need to make a decision, or you're just weighing things up, summing things up at this time. But you could be in two minds about it, and feeling a little bit restless about it as well. This card can also bring in technological upgrades. So this can be cell phone, laptop, camera, whatever technology that you use, or electronics even. You could be having an upgrade of some kind there. It could be technology to do with your work, whatever you're doing. Some sort of change is going on. And you need to be flexible and adaptable at this time as well. You could also be involved in writing and publishing of some kind. That could come in for you, or learning new things. All of these aspects are indicated. When it comes to health and diet, you could be with all the multitasking and energy that's required for your first house, you could be facing a few nervous conditions, or suffering from nerves, or burning the candle at both ends, just not resting enough. So just be aware of that. You could be feeling a bit high strung with whatever's going on. So just, keep your health in check and try to ground yourself as much as possible. Then in the 7th house, we have Pluto transformation. 7th house is the house of your relationships, your close personal relationships. It's also the house of your business relation, a business partnership. So it could be love or business, but it's a close personal relationship that you have. So with this card coming in, there's a lot of transformative energy that comes with Pluto. So this could play out in a number of ways. It's also the sex, death, and rebirth card. So sex is self-explanatory. That could be, it's a very intense card. This, so you could be involved in intense sexual encounters, or you're having, exploratory with that. It could also be that you're experiencing ego death of some kind. So something is falling away and something is being reborn. Any kind of rebirth. So something transformed from old to new. So it's kind of that phoenix energy coming in here. It could also be renewal and regeneration and healing of an existing relationship. But there's renewal, there's regeneration, there's healing coming in for you. So that is transformation from what was there before. It's now moving to another level. But it's intense. It's a very intense card to be having in the 7th house. Just avoid control, trying to bring control in with this, because it won't go down well. Just ride the waves and go with whatever's occurring at this time. You could also find that hidden or suppressed things are rising to the surface at this time as well. So this could be hidden feelings, or just things that have been suppressed, or it could be interests in subjects which are not necessarily, they're kind of taboo. It's kind of the old falling away and making way for the new. There could be an ending as well with this card. It can bring in endings, or it could be that whatever is changing is now going to a new level of fulfillment for you. So see how that plays out for you in this house. But a very transformative energy. It could be a very transformative relationship with somebody who has quite a bit of Pluto energy, or Plutonic ways going on in their chart, and that may be all coming in, and it's transformative for you. Then in the 8th house, we have Cancer, I feel. So your eighth house is the house of sex, death, and rebirth. It's actually Pluto's normal house. So all issues around that. And it's also the house of the merging, the deeper commitment in a sexual relationship, a love partnership, or it can be a business partnership. So it's the merging of your material and your emotional resources. So how that is unfolding for you and how you're merging these things into one. It's also the house of big finance. So this is your investments, insurances, banking, accounting, tax, and assets, things like that. It's also inheritances and legacies. So with Cancer, I feel this is quite an emotional card coming in, but what it's doing is asking you to follow the wisdom of your feelings. So see how you feel about things. There's deep emotion in this house. It's also sensitivity to others. Very important at this time. So it's also about cycles and moods and habits. So you may be changing things like that. You may be changing your habits to do with money, or you may be changing your habits when it comes to cohabiting with somebody else or merging your resources with another. There's also cycles going on. Some cycles may be ending, some cycles may be beginning. Old habits, as I said, may be changing, new habits being formed. Also, the past comes in. So you may be looking at the past and learning from that and moving forward from it, but just don't live there because that won't serve you at this time. It could also be that there's either a secret affair going on, or there could be hidden potential which is now being released at this time in this house. So there's hidden potential, or something secret or hidden is going on. Perhaps something that just wasn't acknowledged before is now coming out to be acknowledged. Something comes out into the open. But it could also just be, as I said, cycles. You could also be going into stock exchange or stock market, which follows cycles and is ruled by the moon. So you could be having an interest in that at this time as well. This card has an element of building resilience as well. And it's also about protection, security, and trust. Okay, so there could be all of these issues coming into a relationship, whether it's a business or a love partnership or a sexual partnership, or it could just be to do with purely monetary issues coming in. But you need to build resilience, you need to protect your assets, think about your security, and also there's, as I said, there's trust coming in there about your path, what you want to do, and trusting your feelings as well. It's also about inner awareness, so going inward, nurturing yourself, nurturing others. There could also be mother and family or domestic issues coming up in this house which need to be addressed in some way. So you may need to redirect finance in that way. This card is also about privacy, so you may need time just to be on your own to work things out and sort things out for yourself, or you may be working alone in some way. Then in the ninth house, we have Libra I balance. Ninth house is the international house, international travel, and everything associated with that. But it's also the house of all things adventure and exploration, whether this is in the mind or in actually physically going out on adventurous activities or exploring. Could even be armchair traveling, okay? But it's you meeting the world or the world meeting you in some way. So it's expansion of the mind, the search for meaning, and this comes in with higher education. So this is university education or adult education. It's also about understanding the deeper elements of philosophy, religion, belief systems. All of those things are coming in. It also is about the law and the higher courts and everything to do with the legal system, all ruled by the ninth house. Relationship with in-laws comes in here, and also teaching falls under the ninth house. Publishing and promotional or public work of all kinds comes in. So now with Libra I balance coming in, there's several elements that could be coming in here for you. So you just have to see how this is playing out for you. But Libra is the card of balance, so that needs to come into this house in any way, shape, or form. But it's also the card of partnership. So you may be linking up with another And it's appropriate for you to do that at this time in this house. So linking up with somebody else, whether this is a sort of a close personal relationship or something to do with work or some other project that you're busy with, but there's a pooling and a merging of resources, mutual support and alliance comes in with this card. So it's linking up with another, but you also need to balance your needs and desires with theirs. Okay, so that's important. You could be entering into a wedding or some kind of engagement at this time with a significant other with this card, and that's where all the legal aspects come in as well. Or it could be that you are going on a trip. It could be a romantic honeymoon or something like that, or it could be that you're going on a trip, an international trip, probably for a wedding or some kind of engagement or some kind of coming together as a partnership. You could be going to witness that in some way. So this card also brings in romance and contentment. So that could come with that trip, or it could come with the wedding and engagement, which is connected to the legal issues and so on. As I said, or you could be traveling away on a honeymoon or some kind of romantic trip. Okay. Then when it comes to, as I said, this card can also bring in legal issues, contracts. You could be waiting for the outcome on something, or you could be entering into a legal issue or matter. But rules and fairness are always involved with the Libra card. Balance, the scales of justice. So it will be a fair, whatever outcome, it will be fair, and there will be rules that need to be followed. With this card, you could also be coming to a decision about something. You need to come to a decision about something. You're going to be weighing it up, looking at everything from all angles, but you will need to come to a decision, and best you do it. Otherwise, the universe will step in and do it for you. The other aspect of this card is that it could be that you're entering or you're getting involved somehow in the arts or the fashion world or beauty or music. But whatever it is, any one of those aspects could be coming in for you in this 9th house. And it's all about refinement and taste and charm. All of these aspects are coming in on the 9th house. Then in the 10th house, we have water element sensing. 10th house is your house of career, fame, reputation, and your public status. It's also the house of authority figures. So this could be somebody in your home, or it could be somebody in your environment, or it could be somebody that like a boss or a manager, something like that. But with water element sensing coming in, I feel that this is more about you going with the flow at this time. So let matters flow. If there's drama and chaos going around you, just let it, just flow around it. Don't get pulled into other people's complications and things. You just step back and keep yourself towards yourself. Follow your feelings and your senses, because you're going to know what to do. It won't probably follow logic necessarily, but you will know and you will sense what to do. You could be, have quite low energy at this time to throw at your career. You may just be sort of taking a step back. Take time out to gather your resources and your strength at this time, because this is like a pause period before action is required. So just take a step back, observe, see what's going on, gather your resources, and just be careful of being taken advantage of this time during this pause period. You're going to be doing a lot of inner processing, working things out, sorting things out, but it's all inner work. It's a very, very, this card is a very good card to come in for this house if you are required in your career or in your profession to use your imagination and creativity, because that's going to be very high at this time. So this can be wonderful for painting, writing, music, any of those sorts of endeavors. Your sensory perception and your imagination is going to be highlighted, and that's wonderful for channeling into any one of those areas. You may just find that you're working alone at this time as well. You may feel alone at this time. You may feel like you're kind of drifting and you don't really have very specific set course at this time, but that will change. It's a period of gathering resources at this time. Then in the 11th house, we have Yod, destiny. So this is a special purpose destiny card. coming in. So something that you're doing in this house has got a sort of a special purpose for you, or you are bringing your special purpose or your destiny in to this area. The 11th house is quite a broad house. It covers your friendships, first and foremost, but it also covers your personal ideals and your hopes and wishes for yourself and your personal hobbies and interests, okay? It's also activities with others. So this is social groups or any kind of group activity. It's you in associated with others, whether this is a society or a club or some kind of association. Could even be a group of companies you're involved in. But it's you with others in a group endeavor. But otherwise, it could be friendships and so on, and hobbies and interests. It's also looking kind of into the future with your dreams and your hopes. It's also about trends, following trends as well. And this is group consciousness and also global consciousness and social reform and causes and so on. So, you could have some destiny or special purpose there in any one of those areas. But it's not an easy aspect. It's surrounded by tension or difficulty. So this creates a kind of a pioneering element to it. So you will be finding your inner truth, and you will be finding this destiny and the special purpose. But the path to get there is going to require quite a bit of energy from you. So you need to go inward. You need to do a lot of inward looking. It's following your own inner GPS for guidance, because you need to find your own truth. You're not going to get support from other people at this time with this endeavor, and it's not appropriate because you need to pull it out of yourself. So it's looking inward for guidance. You may also just be out of step with others at this time. So you may just feel that your friendships, perhaps there's some elements going on there where people are falling away or changing, or you're just not in step with them at this time. And that's because you're busy doing other things. You're busy doing a lot of inner processing, and it may just not be appropriate for you to be out socializing heavily at this time, or just certain friendships you may find that maybe taking a step back at this time because you're doing this inner work. You're kind of plotting your own course. You've got a lot going on, and by plotting your own course, you're going to be setting the way to achieve your goals and success. So you've got to find your own truth about that. You're going to need to be adaptable. You're going to have to sacrifice a few things like time, or however it plays out for you in this 11th house. But there is possibility of success here, but the path there will require you to use a lot of energy and actually to work alone mostly at this time. Then in the 12th house we have lunar eclipse change. So 12th house is the house of the unconscious, all things unconscious. It's also the house of service to others. So this is the service house. It's also the house of reflection and solitude. This is where you go when you want to be alone. It's the house of spiritual life as well, your meditation, your mysticism and healing, meditation of all kinds, your deeper spiritual life and your ideals. It's also the house of escapism, so just getting away from it all, but that can also lead to addictions of all kinds. It's also the house of sort of karmic lessons. And it's also the house where you can meet a twin flame as well. So now with the lunar eclipse change coming in, I feel that you're wrapping up quite a big cycle, but it's going to be quite abrupt and quite quick how this comes about. So this is an inevitable and a necessary shift which needs to happen now. I feel it's an old cycle that's reaching completion. It's kind of you've been aware of it. It's there, but you couldn't really gather all the pieces of it to take action on it. You were aware of something simmering, but the speed and the unexpectedness of how it changes will take you by surprise. Okay, so this is something that is closing out now to move you forward into a different area, to bring in the new. Okay, but it's inevitable and it's necessary. So you kind of need to let go of the past as well. This inevitable and necessary shift is basically getting you ready. So whatever occurs, it will be quick, and then you will feel a bit uncomfortable for a while until you find your feet. Something could come to the surface very quickly as well. Something that you kind of were aware of, or it was sort of bubbling away, but it will now come to the surface. Um, this this change, or whatever it is that's going to make you, sort of go through this period of shift, it's going to require effort from you to kind of find your feet. So you're going to need to apply yourself in some way. So change is coming, whether it's a relationship or a life path, or it could even be a home. But it's kind of the life path and the home is related to a greater goal that you have. So this is a shift that's required in order to move you closer to that goal. It could also be that this shift or change or whatever is coming in for you, what it does is it brings about a new perception for you, and a change of attitude, a completely new way of looking at things, which is very much an unconscious endeavor, because all your unconscious motivations and drives, that's what pushes you in your life, and you're not always aware of them. So this could be a shift in that, where now you've seen something in yourself, and now you can shift and change it, and you now have a completely different perception of something in this house. So it could, as I said, a change is coming. So something could end at this time, or it could go to the next level. So this is really upping the ante in some way in this house. Something comes out in the open, old habits fall away, cycles change, you're in a shift of some sort. And it kind of is going to unfold within 6 weeks. It will unfold, or it could take place over 6 months. The shift, and once the initial shift happens, then it's the unfolding of it thereafter. So just a big cycle change there, I feel, coming in for you. And then just something I want to bring in is an overall card. It's the bottom of the deck, which keeps appearing, and I feel there's elements of it which are coming in, and it's going to sum up your entire chart this month. So grand trine blessings. There's some serious key words here, and this appears in every single one of your houses this month. So this is about applying real effort to bring these blessings in. It's also about timing, potential for renewal and success, opportunity, blocks being removed, and applying the effort in order to maintain those, to open the doors and bring in the opportunities that you want. You're going to have to open those doors. Leaving the past behind, but it's also mastering of your goals, all right? Mastering of your goals, and somebody coming to assist you with that, possibly an older person as well. It's about faith and trust. It's about being easygoing, going with the flow. There's measured and considerate action with this. Finish what you start is very important with this card. Pay attention to what is going on. See what the currents are, how things are moving. There's renewal and regeneration with this. Sensitivity to others. You may find when it comes to certain elements, you may be having contentment with certain things, certain elements in this chart this month. It's almost like a feeling of completion occurring. Let matters flow at this time, and also just go with the flow. Your purpose is coming to light now, sort of blocks are being removed, and this is going to move you forward in some way. Okay, Aries, hope you enjoyed that. Please don't forget to like and share, or like and subscribe, as this circulated to other people who may need to see this at this time. Have a wonderful month. Take care, and I will see you next time.